Okay, get this. One of the most powerful tech companies on Earth started with a shrug. Why should we trust you? You shouldn't. Since ChatGPT launched, OpenAI went from a scrappy idea to a $300 billion rocket ship, and the ride has been absolutely insane. We're talking boardroom coups, billion-dollar deals, and a mission that began as open for humanity and morphed into something a whole lot more complicated. It starts with Sam Altman, the Stanford dropout who lived on instant noodles, caught scurvy, and somehow became the guy every Silicon Valley heavyweight knew by first name. Add Elon Musk, terrified that AI could wipe us out, plus a late-night dinner with a dream team of researchers. Boom! OpenAI is born as a non-profit to keep Google in check and build for the good of the world. But here's where it gets wild. A Google paper unlocks transformers. OpenAI runs with it. GPT explodes. ChatGPT drops and the internet loses its mind. Money floods in, safety alarms blare, and the company once called open turns not so open. Then, the Friday firing heard round the world. Sam out, employees revolt, Microsoft waits with open arms, and in 5 days, the king is back on the throne. Lawsuits, voice clones, global rivals like DeepSeek. Meanwhile, AI is rewriting everything from jobs to reality itself. This isn't just tech drama, it's the future, and it affects all of us. So after that cold open, OpenAI rocketing to the top while preaching, "Don't trust us," let's rewind to the guy in the driver's seat. Sam Altman didn't sprint out of Stanford with a diploma. He bailed to build Loopt, a location-sharing app, before the iPhone even existed. Tough timing. Picture trying to sell apps before there was an app store. Dude grinds anyway, instant noodles, ice cream. The whole broke founder starter pack so hard, he literally gets scurvy. That's not hustle porn, that's a medical bill. Then 2005 hits, and Sam slides into the first ever Y Combinator batch, startup bootcamp run by Paul Graham. PG clocks something most people miss. He's like, Sam's insanely good at becoming powerful. Not smart, not lucky, powerful. The kind of guy you could parachute onto a wild island, and 5 years later, he's calling the shots. Fast forward, and boom, at 30, Sam's the president of YC. Overnight, he's mentoring founders, trading notes with the heaviest hitters in the valley, building a Rolodex that looks like a Forbes cover. That network becomes his superpower. And with a bigger platform, Sam starts talking AI, on stage, in interviews, everywhere. Not just cool new tech chatter. He's framing it like a force you respect, the way you respect the ocean. Incredible if you use it right, deadly if you don't. The seed is planted. While most folks are still laughing at clunky chatbots, Sam's already staring over the horizon at the thing that could bend reality. But here's where it gets absolutely crazy. Because the next major character sees that same ocean and starts waving a red flag so hard it practically catches fire. Alright, so while Sam was busy talking about how AI could change everything, Elon Musk was staring at the same future and losing sleep over it. Back in 2015, Elon was straight up terrified. The guy who builds rockets and electric cars was saying, I could end humanity. He'd been begging the world to slow down on AI development, warning that machine intelligence was advancing way faster than anyone realized. But no one was listening. At the time, Google ruled the AI world. They had the money, the data, and most of the top minds working for them. Elon even confronted Google's CEO, Larry Page, about it, asking how he could be so chill about the idea of AI surpassing human intelligence. Larry basically brushed him off, saying Elon was being paranoid. That moment stuck with Elon. To him, Google wasn't just another tech giant. It was a potential God-making machine with zero brakes. So Elon did what Elon always does when he sees a threat. He decided to build the alternative himself. He wanted to create a counterweight to Google's dominance, something transparent, something built with humanity's safety in mind. But he couldn't do it alone. He needed allies. And that's when his path crossed with Sam Altman's in a way that would change the entire trajectory of artificial intelligence. Because what started as a dinner between a few tech geniuses would end up launching one of the most powerful companies in history. But here's where it gets wild. What actually went down at that dinner? So picture this. Late 2015. 10 of Silicon Valley's brightest minds sitting around a dinner table, swapping ideas that sound half sci-fi, half doomsday prophecy. Elon Musk's there, warning about runaway AI. Sam Altman's there, calm and calculating, thinking about how to steer the storm instead of hide from it. You've got Greg Brockman, fresh from building Stripe into a fintech powerhouse, and Ilya Sutskever, one of the sharpest AI researchers alive, a literal wizard of neural networks. Over wine and what was probably a very intense dessert, they talk about the same thing keeping Elon up at night. What happens when AI becomes smarter than us? The consensus? If this future's inevitable, somebody better build it responsibly. Elon throws $1 billion on the table, says he'll fund the dream. Greg's got the ops know-how, Ilya's got the science. And Sam? He's the glue, the guy who can get powerful people aligned and make the impossible sound doable. That night, OpenAI was born, a non-profit, no shareholders, no stock options, no move fast and break things. Just one promise: build artificial intelligence safely and make it open to the world. The open in OpenAI literally meant open source, total transparency. Anyone could look under the hood, study it, and benefit from it. It was supposed to be the anti-Google, the good guys building the tech that wouldn't destroy us. Except it didn't quite work out that way. Because once the dream team started building, they realized creating God-level intelligence in your apartment kitchen might be just a little more complicated than it sounded. And that's where things start getting really strange. All right, so the dream team's locked in. But here's the twist. OpenAI didn't exactly look like a billion-dollar company at the start. No sleek glass office, no private chefs, no investors hanging around. Just a few laptops spread across Greg Brockman's apartment, code running on kitchen counters, and a handful of people who genuinely believed they were about to change the world. They had more than $1 billion pledged, sure, but that didn't mean they had a plan. At first, OpenAI was kind of throwing stuff at the wall, training a bot to play Dota 2, tinkering with a robot butler, trying anything to see what stuck. One early employee even admitted, "We were just doing random stuff." Meanwhile, Sam was still juggling Y Combinator, and Elon was buried in Tesla and SpaceX. That left Ilya, the AI genius, and Greg, the business brain, to actually run things day to day. But even with all that chaos, they all shared one radical goal: create a GI, artificial general intelligence. Not just a smart program, but something that could think, learn, and adapt like a human, only faster, stronger, and limitless. Inside the office, people joked they were building God. Some meant it literally. Others just half smiled and kept coding. They talked about how AGI could solve everything: disease, poverty, even climate change, but also how it could destroy us by accident. Sam would say, if this goes wrong, it could go really wrong. The vibe was half Silicon Valley startup, half philosophical cult. Everyone felt like they were on the edge of creating something divine or dangerous. And while they were talking about saving humanity, most of the world still thought AI was just making game bots. Nobody realized how close OpenAI was to a real breakthrough. But that's when the rest of the world started waking up. And what happened next? It completely changed the direction of AI forever. So while OpenAI was trying to build the future out of Greg's apartment, most people still thought AI was stuck in the past. For decades, progress had been so slow that researchers called it the AI winter, a long freeze where funding dried up and hype turned into disappointment. But just as OpenAI got started in 2015, the ice began to crack. That same year, an AI system beat a professional Go player for the first time, a game so complex, people said machines wouldn't master it for decades. The AI later crushed the world champion. It was a wake-up call. Still, there was a catch. That program could only play Go. It didn't know math, or how to write, or even what a hot dog was. Old school A. I had tunnel vision. It could do one thing really well, but that was it. Then came 2017, and Google quietly dropped a research paper that changed everything. It was called Attention is All You Need, and it introduced a brand new way for machines to learn. The transformer. Unlike older systems that needed hand-labeled data, like this is a cat, this is not a cat, transformers could feed on messy, unorganized information from the internet and teach themselves. That single innovation was the spark that reignited AI. OpenAI's Ilya Sutskever read that paper and saw the future instantly. The transformer wasn't just a new tool, it was the missing piece. OpenAI jumped on it faster than anyone else, and suddenly they were outpacing Google at its own game. Their new models didn't just do one thing, they could do anything. That's where GPT comes from. Generative pre-trained transformer. And from that moment on, the old AI world melted away. The new era had begun. But what OpenAI did next? Well, that's when they stopped being so open. By the time OpenAI built its second big model, GPT-2, the results were mind-blowing. It could write essays, spin fake news, even mimic people's writing styles so well it freaked out its own creators. That's when OpenAI made its first big break from the open part of its name. Instead of releasing the full code like they'd promised, they announced, due to safety concerns, we're not making GPT-2 public. Boom. Instant headlines. Wired called it the AI too dangerous to release. Overnight, OpenAI wasn't just a research lab, it was a mystery. Everyone wanted to know what this model could do, and that curiosity gave them something more valuable than funding: attention. But there was also a new problem. Training those massive transformer models cost millions in computing power. And remember, Elon Musk's promised billion-dollar funding. Yeah, most of it never showed up. OpenAI suddenly needed cash, fast. So in 2018, Elon walked away from the board after a failed power grab. He'd wanted to merge OpenAI into Tesla and take charge. The board said no, and Elon bailed, taking his money with him. That left OpenAI scrambling. Their solution? Flip the entire business model. They created something called a capped profit company, technically still tied to the non-profit mission, but now able to raise serious investment. Microsoft jumped in with a billion-dollar deal, offering access to their massive Azure cloud. Just like that, the company founded to challenge big tech became partners with it. Critics called them closed AI. Elon even sued, saying they'd betrayed their original promise. But from the inside, Sam Altman saw it differently. To change the world, you need resources, and that means money. And once the cash started flowing, OpenAI went from secretive lab to global phenomenon almost overnight, because what they built next would change how the entire planet talks, learns, and works. It's late 2022. The world's recovering from a weird few years, and out of nowhere, OpenAI drops something simple, a web app called ChatGPT. No flashy launch event, no Hollywood trailer, just one tweet from Sam Altman. Today, we launched ChatGPT. Try talking with it here. That's it. But what happened next? Absolute madness. Within days, millions of people were testing it. Within weeks, it was everywhere. Schools, offices, TikTok videos, late-night TV. In just 2 months, ChatGPT became the fastest app in history to hit 100 million users. For comparison, Facebook took over 4 years to do that. Even OpenAI employees hadn't seen it coming. Internally, their biggest prediction for week 1 was maybe 100,000 users. They were off by about 99.9 million. The crazy part? Not everyone inside OpenAI even wanted it released yet. The safety team said it was risky. They worried about people using it to spread misinformation, hack systems, or worse. But the product side pushed forward, and once it went live, there was no turning back. The world didn't care about the flaws. It just worked. ChatGPT could talk like a human, write like a pro, and make people feel like they were chatting with a friend who never slept. Within months, Microsoft poured in another $10 billion, cementing a deep partnership. Google panicked. Investors flooded the AI space. Suddenly, prompt engineering became a career, and OpenAI transformed from a quirky lab to the center of a global gold rush. But behind the scenes, the company was splitting in two. On one side, Sam and the team racing to commercialize. On the other, researchers and ethicists warning that they were moving too fast. The same tension that started with Elon was back, only this time it was inside OpenAI's walls. And that pressure? It was about to explode in the most dramatic corporate coup Silicon Valley had ever seen. So picture this. It's Friday, November 17th, 2023. Sam Altman, the face of OpenAI, the guy who just helped launch one of the most influential products in tech history, gets a message from Ilya Sutskever. "Hey Sam, can you hop on a quick video call?" No big deal, right? Except when Sam logs on, the entire OpenAI board is there, minus his closest ally, Greg Brockman. Within minutes, they tell him he's fired. No warning, no build-up, just boom, you're out. The board releases a vague public statement saying Sam was not consistently candid with them and that they no longer had confidence in his leadership. Translation: they basically accused him of lying. The tech world goes into chaos. Nobody knows what's going on. Did he hide something? Was it about safety? Was there a secret project? Social media explodes with theories. Then the dominoes start falling. Greg quits in protest. OpenAI employees, hundreds of them, start posting heart emojis and they stand with Sam all over Twitter. By Sunday, it's a full-blown mutiny. A letter circulates among staff saying, if Sam and Greg don't return, everyone's walking out. Almost every single employee signs it. Even crazier, Microsoft steps in and says, "Hey, we'll hire all of you if you leave." That's 800 people ready to jump ship overnight. Meanwhile, Ilya, the same guy who helped fire Sam, has a change of heart. He tweets, "I deeply regret my participation in the board's actions." And that's the moment everything flips. The board realizes they've lost the war. If you come for the king, you best not miss. And they missed hard. By Tuesday, Sam's back in charge. The board members who ousted him? Gone. Greg, back at his desk, employees celebrating like it's a championship win. In just 5 days, Sam went from being fired to being more powerful than ever. The message was clear. You don't overthrow Silicon Valley's most connected man without consequences. But the real question after the dust settled, what's next? Because if this is what happens inside OpenAI, imagine what's coming for the rest of the world. So after the chaos, Sam's back on top, stronger than ever. The board's been replaced, employees are back on side, and OpenAI is charging ahead like nothing happened. Within months, they drop another game changer, ChatGPT's voice mode. Suddenly, you can talk to it like it's a real person. Fluid, expressive, almost human. People immediately start making comparisons to the movie Her, the one where a guy falls in love with his AI assistant voiced by Scarlett Johansson. Sounds far-fetched, right? Well, Sam apparently didn't think so. He literally reached out to Johansson, asking her to lend her voice to ChatGPT. She said no, but when the product launched, one of the AI voices sounded suspiciously like her. Friends started texting her saying, "Hey, is that you?" She sued. And right after the launch, Sam tweeted a single word, her, not the best look. Still, none of that slowed OpenAI down. The tech kept getting better. Faster responses, sharper reasoning, even video generation with tools like Sora. Sam was talking about ending poverty and curing disease, while critics were warning about fake news, deepfakes, and AI chaos. The truth? Both sides were probably right. By 2025, OpenAI had raised another $40 billion, hitting a $300 billion valuation, one of the biggest private funding rounds ever. But just as they were celebrating, a new challenger appeared. DeepSeek, a Chinese AI company that stormed into the market and instantly wiped hundreds of billions off US tech stocks. OpenAI accused them of stealing its code. Kind of ironic, considering OpenAI's own borrow first, ask later approach to training data. Now the race is global. The US, China, Europe, everyone's sprinting to build the smartest machine alive. Some say we're on the edge of a golden age. Others think we're building our own extinction. The craziest part? Nobody really knows which it is. But one thing's for sure. The world changed the moment ChatGPT started talking back. And whether it's a tool or a threat, we've already crossed the line. There's no going back now.